Nutrition and stress. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Fortunately or unfortunately, we live in a world that tempts us with a great variety and abundance of food, and many of us eat not to satisfy physical hunger, but to allay anxiety, depression, and boredom, to provide a substitute for emotional nourishment or to fill an inner void. Although eating has been used as both a coping and relaxation technique, it's not a healthy way of dealing with stress. There are several ways that nutrition and stress are connected. First, let's talk about the very strong connection between our emotions and our eating behaviors. It's been said that food and mood go together like peanut butter and jelly. An example of this is an experience that Dr. Seward, a professor of stress management, had when he went to see a movie. The movie was a thriller and had people sitting on the edge of their chairs. He looked around the theater and saw that people were stuffing their mouths with popcorn and candy while they were engrossed in the movie. Dr. Seward was distracted from the movie because of the sound of everyone munching on their popcorn. The manager at the theater confirmed to him that people eat more popcorn and candy, as evidenced by their popcorn and candy sales, during the release of suspenseful movies compared to other types of movies. We eat to celebrate, we eat to relax, and we eat out of frustration and boredom. And as the theater manager confirmed, we eat out of anxiety. So our feelings and emotions are very closely tied to our eating behaviors, and often it's subconsciously. We don't realize that we're eating more or less or eating different foods in response to specific emotions. If I were to track the amount and type of food that you eat for several months, would I see any differences in the amount and type of foods that you eat during finals week or during some other stressful time? And are your eating behaviors based on the type of stressor you're experiencing? For example, have you ever lost your appetite and eaten less than normal when you're depressed or sad, like when you're going through a breakup or after having lost a loved one? Or do you have more of an appetite and crave unhealthy foods more than usual when you're going through a particularly stressful time, like during final exams? Stress and nutrition. So what exactly is the connection between stress and nutrition? First of all, it's important to understand that a malnourished diet is itself a stressor on the body. Foods high in fat and simple sugars and empty calories tend to rob the body of essential nutrients. So your body is operating under a nutritional deficiency if you're not eating healthy. Under these conditions, your body is stressed to maintain its integrity for metabolic functioning. Over time, one or more physiological systems may go into a state of dysfunction, and stress can cause problems with the body's ability to digest and absorb nutrients. So eating poorly causes your body to be stressed. Another connection between nutrition and stress is our eating habits tend to be worse than normal during stressful times, which perpetuates an already negative condition for our bodies. A person under chronic stress is vulnerable to nutritional deficiency because 1, they're more likely to eat unhealthy foods, and 2, their body requires additional nutrition because of their stress state. So you have the double whammy of your body having additional nutritional needs when you're stressed, and the likelihood that your nutrition decreases due to poor diet when you're stressed. Another connection with stress and nutrition is the type of foods we crave when we're stressed. Think about it. What are some of the foods you crave when you're stressed? It's probably not carrots and celery. Most likely you crave foods like cookies, candy, ice cream, or potato chips. And there's a reason why. When we're in a state of stress, our bodies think they need energy to help us respond, even though our stressors don't require physical strength. Because the quickest form of energy comes from stored sugar and fat, we tend to crave foods higher in sugar and fat during stressful times. More specifically, stress increases the production of cortisol, which in turn increases the production of the chemical NPY in the brain. NPY is thought to be responsible for cravings for carbohydrate-rich foods, particularly sweets. Having a stress-filled day can cause your NPY levels to increase, which increases your cravings for unhealthy, sugary, and fatty foods. Another connection with stress and nutrition is that some foods actually induce a state of stress on the body. We talked about a malnourished diet being a stressor on the body because our bodies don't function as well, but there are some foods that actually cause the stress response. For example, caffeine is a stimulant that arouses the central nervous system and causes your heart rate and blood pressure to increase. When you're stressed, your heart rate and blood pressure is already elevated. You don't want the double whammy of increasing your heart rate and blood pressure pressure even more by consuming caffeine. Drinking tons of coffee or other caffeinated drinks perpetuates the stress response when your body is already going through the stress response during stressful times. So the worst time that college students can ingest these high caffeine drinks is usually during stressful times, which is unfortunately precisely when consumption of these drinks increases. Another connection between stress and nutrition is the problem pertaining to overconsumption. Many nutritionists and health experts agree that the biggest problem in the U.S. is overconsumption. We eat too much. Our serving sizes are huge compared to other countries, and they keep getting bigger and bigger as we get bigger and bigger. This is evidenced by results of several comparative surveys that suggest the U.S. is the fattest country in the world, meaning there are more overweight individuals per capita in the U.S. than in any other country. In addition to eating unhealthier during stressful times, we eat more than normal when we're under stress, which contributes to our current obesity epidemic. Just a note about overconsumption. Overconsumption does not necessarily mean overabundance of nutrients. It's possible for an overweight person to be malnourished. The system that's most seriously affected by poor nutrition is the immune system. So again, you have the double whammy of having a weak immune system from being stressed and from a poor diet. 4 vitamins that are especially affected by chronic stress are vitamins A, C, E, and the B complex vitamins. These are really important vitamins that play a huge role in our health. Eating too many simple sugars, which we crave during stressful times, tends to deplete vitamin stores, particularly the B complex vitamins. In order to be metabolized, white sugar requires additional B complex vitamins. These and other vitamins are essential for optimal functioning of the central nervous system. Another connection between stress and nutrition is the increase in fatigue, anxiety, and irritability that we experience when we're eating a poor diet and when we're under stress. As I mentioned just a minute ago, B complex vitamins are definitely affected when you're under stress. The problem with this is a depletion of B complex vitamins may contribute to fatigue, anxiety, and irritability, but stress itself can cause fatigue, anxiety, and irritability. Also, increased amounts of simple sugars may cause major fluctuations in blood glucose levels, which also may contribute to fatigue, headaches, and irritability. So again, you don't want the double whammy of being tired and irritable from being stressed and from a poor diet. Excessive alcohol consumption is associated with stress. Many people drink more when they're under stress. The problem with this is alcohol suppresses the immune system, and so does stress, and so does a poor diet. So when alcohol is used as a coping mechanism when one is stressed, the immune system is suppressed even more. There are 2 supplemental videos for this lecture: Top 10 Stress Busters, just over 3 minutes, and How to Reduce Stress Through Nutrition, just over 5 minutes. Both provide very good information pertaining to nutrition in relation to managing stress. Key points. Our eating behaviors are definitely tied to our emotions. Even if you don't consciously realize it, your eating behaviors probably are altered during stressful times. We tend to have unhealthier eating habits than normal when we're stressed. Specifically, we eat more and we choose unhealthier foods compared to when we're not stressed. And that's it for this lecture.